If you've been to the grocery store lately, you may have already noticed certain shelves looking emptier than usual. But what's coming next could be even worse. Fresh reports, USDA data, and recent market analyses are painting a troubling picture, one that suggests key grocery items may become much harder to find in April. From extreme weather conditions wreaking havoc on food production to supply chain disruptions slowing down deliveries, several factors are converging to create potential shortages that could impact millions. In this video, we're breaking down 10 grocery staples that may soon be in short supply, some of which might surprise you. These aren't just specialty items, but everyday essentials that could quickly become scarce if trends continue. Whether it's due to crop failures, rising costs, or unexpected demand spikes, the warning signs are clear. Don't wait until it's too late. We'll not only reveal which products are at risk, but also share practical strategies to prepare now, so you're not caught off guard when prices surge or supplies run low. Stay tuned, stay informed, and let's dive into what you need to know before April hits. 10 powdered eggs. If fresh eggs were hard to come by in 2023, powdered eggs might be next on the list of disappearing grocery items in April. A growing number of food security reports suggest that supply chain disruptions, disease outbreaks, and surging consumer demand are making this shelf-stable staple harder to keep in stock. According to a 2024 market report, the global powdered egg industry is on track to hit $3.6 billion by 2025 as more households and food manufacturers turn to dehydrated egg alternatives. The rise in demand isn't just about convenience, it's about preparation. Over the last year, shoppers have increasingly stocked up on long-landing food items, fearing another round of egg shortages like the one caused by the avian flu crisis in 2023. That outbreak led to the culling of millions of egg-laying hens, triggering a 60% price hike in some areas, according to USDA statistics. While fresh egg prices eventually stabilized, many consumers saw firsthand how quickly availability can shift. Retailers in California, Michigan, and Pennsylvania have already reported a double-digit increase in sales of powdered eggs whenever fresh egg supplies seem uncertain. Meanwhile, online marketplaces have seen bulk purchases surge, particularly among preppers and cost-conscious consumers who recognize the value of powdered eggs' 5-year shelf life. Some agricultural experts argue that large-scale shortages are unlikely, citing improved biosecurity measures and expanded production capacities. However, history has shown that even a single regional outbreak or transportation delay can send fresh egg prices soaring, making powdered eggs the next best thing, if you can find them. If you've been thinking about grabbing a supply for your pantry, now might be the time before April rolls around and stock levels dwindle. 9. Shelf-stable milk alternatives. If you rely on almond, soy, oat, or coconut milk, you might want to stock up before April, because shelf-stable milk alternatives are flying off the shelves, and not just because of dietary trends. Over the past few years, a mix of supply chain breakdowns, extreme weather, and shifting consumer habits has made these long-lasting dairy substitutes a must-have for millions. A 2023 market report by Grandview Research valued the global shelf-stable plant-based milk industry at over $15 billion, $300 million, with projections showing an 11% annual growth rate through 2027. That surge isn't just about health-conscious shoppers, it's also about necessity. Major disruptions in dairy supply chains, including trucking shortages, labor disputes, and drought conditions, have led more people to seek out milk that doesn't require refrigeration until opened. A 2024 Mintel survey revealed that 26% of U.S. households now purchase shelf-stable milk alternatives regularly, not just for their health benefits, but also for convenience and emergency preparedness. In states like Texas and Florida, local news stations have reported sudden spikes in cow's milk prices, making plant-based options even more attractive. However, here's the catch. Those same alternatives could face shortages too. Experts quoted by Bloomberg noted that major food manufacturers have ramped up production, anticipating potential fresh dairy shortages. But even plant-based milks aren't immune to supply chain bottlenecks. Poor almond or oat harvests, global shipping delays, and rising production costs could make it harder to find your favorite non-dairy options in April. While nutritionists from the Mayo Clinic confirm that many of these products are fortified with calcium, vitamin D, and essential nutrients, they also warn that 8. Dehydrated meats and jerky. If you love having beef jerky, turkey sticks, or other dehydrated meats in your pantry, you might want to grab extra packs now, because shortages could be on the horizon. With beef production dropping, rising feed costs, and unpredictable weather conditions, the supply of shelf-stable protein is being squeezed more than ever. According to the North American Meat Institute, beef production fell by 5% in 2023, mainly due to higher livestock feed costs and persistent droughts impacting cattle farmers. The USDA's Livestock, Dairy, and Poultry Outlook for 2024 warns that if extreme weather patterns continue, meat supplies could face further strain, leading to shortages in certain regions. It's no surprise, then, that sales of dehydrated meats and jerky have surged. Retail data from Spins shows a 19% increase in jerky and meat snack sales from 2022 to 2024, with more shoppers prioritizing long shelf life in their grocery choices. ABC News has even reported on ranchers in Texas and Oklahoma sending fresh meat directly to dehydration facilities to create backup inventory for an unpredictable market. While protein shortages in the U.S. may not be as severe as in some other countries, global supply chain disruptions still impact availability. Major jerky brands featured in Forbes noted that sales often spike during hurricane seasons or when supply chain issues make headlines, which means panic buying could hit hard if shortages become widely publicized in April. Though some health experts caution about jerky's high sodium content, its long shelf life and convenience make it a go-to survival food. The steady climb in jerky demand suggests that more people are preparing for possible disruptions. So if you want to keep your stash stocked, now is the time to buy before prices climb or availability tightens. 7. Honey. If you think honey is just another pantry staple, think again. This golden superfood isn't just a natural sweetener, it's a long-lasting, multi-purpose essential that could soon become harder to find. With global bee populations in decline, increasing demand, and rising import reliance, honey is on track to be one of the next grocery items to run low in April. According to a 2024 report from the Food and Agriculture Organization, FAO, global honey production has been declining at an average rate of 1.3% per year, largely due to bee colony losses caused by pesticides, climate changes, and varroa mite infestations. Major news outlets like BBC and Deutsche Welle have reported on the worsening crisis in bee populations, raising concerns about long-term supply stability. Meanwhile, domestic honey production in the U.S. dropped by about 8% between 2022 and 2024, even as consumer demand surged. The National Honey Board notes that more people are turning to honey for natural health benefits, leading to increased consumption. Since domestic production can't keep up, the U.S. now relies heavily on honey imports from Argentina and Vietnam. But if international shipping runs into delays or trade disruptions, shelves could empty faster than expected. The good news? Some areas like Colorado and Montana have seen a rise in local beekeeping efforts to combat shortages. The Wall Street Journal even documented how small-scale honey producers thrived during 2023's national trucking bottlenecks, selling directly to consumers when supermarkets ran low on sweeteners. Beyond food, honey is also used for medicinal purposes, including wound care and immune support. The Journal of Wound Care highlights its antibacterial properties, though they caution that medical-grade honey differs from what's on store shelves. Market analysts at Ibis World predict that if bee population declines continue, honey prices could spike by up to 12% by mid-2025, and that's if supply even holds steady. With sugar prices also under pressure, honey could become an even more valuable commodity. Considering that properly stored honey can last for decades, now might be the best time to stock up before prices rise or supply tightens. 6. Instant potatoes. If you're not already a fan of instant potatoes, now might be the time to add them to your grocery list, because they could be in short supply this April. While fresh potatoes are a staple in most kitchens, instant potatoes have quietly become one of the most sought items for those looking to prepare for potential supply disruptions. According to the National Potato Council, 2024's potato harvest in the U.S. dropped slightly to around 39.3 million CWT, down from 41 million the previous year. This decrease is attributed to water shortages in Idaho, one of the largest potato-producing states, and labor shortages affecting farms nationwide. On top of that, Europe's potato production took a hit in 2023 due to record-breaking heat waves, which has further pushed up global potato prices. These factors create a fragile potato supply chain, making instant potatoes a strategic alternative for both budget-conscious shoppers and those planning for disruptions. Retail data from Circana, formerly IRI-NPD, reveals a 23% increase in instant potato sales over the last 3 years, reflecting a growing preference for these quick and shelf-stable staples. During the 2024 Midwest floods, news outlets in Iowa reported that fresh potatoes vanished from store shelves, while instant potato varieties remained well-stocked, largely due to prior stockpiling by consumers. This highlights just how essential instant potatoes can be when traditional supply chains falter. Commodity experts from Rabo Research point out that climate change is increasing volatility in potato prices, which would make fresh potatoes less affordable or available. For preparedness-minded shoppers, instant potatoes are a practical choice, since they have a long shelf life, up to 15 years when stored properly. A 2024 consumer sentiment survey by the Hartman Group found that instant potatoes were ranked among the top 5 items for emergency meal planning, alongside rice, pasta, canned vegetables, and canned meats. National restaurant supply chains have also increasingly turned to dehydrated potatoes to replace fresh ones during inflation spikes and inventory shortages. With the unpredictability of climate conditions and potential disruptions to the potato supply chain, now is the time to stock up on instant potatoes before they vanish from the shelves. Whether for emergency preparedness or a quick meal option, this pantry essential is a must-have for anyone looking to stay ahead of the curve this spring. 5. Dried beans. Dried beans have long been a pantry essential, offering an affordable, protein-packed food source that can last years in storage. But if you've been relying on dried beans as part of your emergency food supply, you might want to stock up sooner rather than later, because they could be in short supply this April. According to the USDA, the U.S. produced about 1.3 million metric tons of dry edible beans in 2024, a noticeable drop from the 5-year average of 1.5 million metric tons. This decline is largely due to extreme weather patterns, particularly persistent droughts in major bean-growing states like North Dakota and Nebraska. Reports from AgWeb and Farm Journal confirm that irregular rainfall and rising temperatures have hurt bean yields, making it harder for farmers to meet growing demand. And demand is definitely increasing. The North American Millers Association estimates that consumer interest in plant-based proteins will rise by 15% by the end of 2025. This means that as more people turn to beans as an affordable, high-protein food, the supply might not be able to keep up. In fact, some Midwest grocery stores already experienced temporary shortages of pinto and black beans in late 2024, with trade analysts from Rabobank predicting further price hikes of up to 8% if fertilizer supply chain issues persist. Transportation bottlenecks are another concern. With ongoing trucking delays and global trade disruptions, beans could take longer to restock on grocery store shelves, leading to spotty availability across different regions. Data from Helgi Library shows that bulk bean purchases jumped 12% in late 2024, driven largely by preppers and emergency planners worried about future food shortages. While some economic analysts believe widespread bean shortages are unlikely, regional scarcities and price spikes are very much a possibility. That's why consumer advocacy groups are encouraging households to stock up now on varieties like kidney, navy, and garbanzo beans, which can last up to 2 years if stored properly, according to USDA guidelines. 4. Dehydrated vegetables. If you rely on dehydrated vegetables for your pantry, backpacking trips, or emergency food supply, now's the time to stock up, because they might become harder to find this April. As extreme weather takes a toll on global vegetable production, more people are turning to long-lasting alternatives like dried carrots, peppers, onions, and potatoes. But with demand skyrocketing and supply chains under pressure, these pantry staples could start disappearing from store shelves. According to the Food and Agriculture Organization, FAO, global vegetable production dropped by 2% in 2023, with North America and Asia hit hardest by unpredictable weather patterns. Meanwhile, the European Commission's Agriculture Unit warned that prolonged heat waves in 2024 could further impact vegetable crops, potentially reducing exports and creating shortages worldwide. Supermarkets are already feeling the effects. CNN recently reported that fresh produce availability can shift overnight due to climate volatility, leaving many shoppers scrambling for alternatives. That's where dehydrated vegetables come in. Sales of dried vegetables surged by 14% in the U.S. last year, according to Nielsen IQ, as more people stocked up for emergencies. Reports from Farm Progress even highlighted how some farmers have turned to dehydration facilities to salvage crops that would otherwise go to waste, helping to keep supplies afloat, for now. But this sudden increase in demand isn't just coming from preppers. A Technomic data analysis found that urban consumers are buying more dehydrated vegetables than ever before, as concerns over grocery shortages and rising prices push people toward longer-lasting food options. Even agriculture experts at UC Davis have been advising consumers to store dehydrated produce, since it retains vital nutrients and can be easily rehydrated when fresh vegetables are scarce. Despite some skepticism from analysts who believe media coverage is fueling the hype, the USDA's Economic Research Service confirms that fresh produce scarcities often push consumers toward packaged alternatives, and dehydrated vegetables are no exception. As more people prepare for potential food supply disruptions, this lightweight, nutrient-dense, and long-leveling staple is flying off the shelves. 3. High-energy snack bars. If you rely on high-energy snack bars to fuel your busy days, workouts, or emergency food supply, you might want to grab a few extra boxes while you still can. These compact, calorie-dense bars have become a go-to option for both on-the-go lifestyles and preparedness enthusiasts, but rising demand and supply chain challenges could make them harder to find this April. According to the International Food Information Council, U.S. snack bar consumption jumped 22% over the last 3 years, showing that more people than ever are relying on these quick and convenient meals. But it's not just about convenience. Retail data from IRI reveals that high-protein snack bar sales surged by 34% from 2022 to 2024. Partly because of rising meat prices and concerns over fresh protein availability. But here's where things get tricky. Mainstream news outlets like Fox Business have reported that supply chain slowdowns could hit snack bar production hard. Packaging materials, nuts, and dried fruits, key ingredients in many of these bars, have all been affected by shortages and extreme weather events. Brands like Cliff Bar and Kind have tried to ramp up production, but industry experts warn that certain varieties may still disappear from shelves as demand outpaces supply. And it's not just fitness enthusiasts fueling this surge. Preppers and emergency planners are stocking up too. A 2024 survey from Packaged Facts found that 31% of respondents had already stockpiled snack bars, preparing for everything from natural disasters to unexpected grocery store shortages. Food scientists interviewed by NPR confirmed that vacuum-sealed snack bars can last between 6 and 12 months, with some emergency-grade bars lasting up to 5 years, making them a perfect survival food. Even local health departments in hurricane-prone states like Florida and Louisiana advise residents to keep snack bars on hand for at least 3 days of emergency use. While some skeptics dismiss these bars as glorified candy, nutrition labels tell a different story. The Academy of Nutrition and Dietetics has noted that many snack bars offer a solid balance of protein, healthy fats, and carbohydrates, making them a valuable, shelf-stable food option. With increasing demand, rising ingredient costs, and supply chain issues, all converging, it's no surprise that high-energy snack bars are flying off the shelves. If you don't want to get caught empty-handed, now's the time to grab your supply, before they become yet another item that's impossible to find this spring. 2. Seeds for sprouting. If you haven't stocked up on seeds for sprouting, you might want to do it before they vanish from shelves this April. With fresh produce prices soaring and grocery stores facing supply chain hiccups, more and more people are turning to homegrown microgreens and sprouts as an easy, affordable way to get essential nutrients. But here's the catch. Demand for sprouting seeds has skyrocketed, and suppliers are already struggling to keep up. According to the Association of Official Seed Certifying Agencies, consumer purchases of sprouting kits and seeds rose 15% in 2024, showing a clear shift towards self-sufficient food production. News outlets like CBS have reported on urban households embracing countertop gardening to combat unreliable produce availability at grocery chains. And it's not just a fad. Industry newsletters from the International Sprout Growers Association confirm that alfalfa, radish, broccoli, and mung bean seeds are selling out faster than ever. But why the sudden rush? Bloomberg reported that small-scale seed suppliers struggled to meet large wholesale orders in late 2023, as preppers and health-conscious consumers rushed to stockpile. The reason is simple. Sprouts offer a renewable, nutrient-dense food source that grows in days, making them a perfect backup when fresh veggies are scarce. A 2023 study in the journal Nutrients confirmed that sprouts contain concentrated vitamins, minerals, and antioxidants, making them a powerful solution when supply chain disruptions hit the produce aisle. However, as demand surges, some agriculture departments are advising consumers on safe sprouting practices, especially in states like Oregon and Washington, where awareness campaigns highlight proper rinsing and storage to prevent contamination. While the CDC acknowledges occasional foodborne illness concerns, experts agree that, with proper handling, sprouting is a safe, reliable way to grow fresh greens at home. And that's exactly why more people are jumping on the trend. Even home and garden TV shows are pushing the benefits of sprouting at home, emphasizing how low-cost and fast-growing these seeds are. While some skeptics doubt widespread produce shortages, the continuous rise in seed sales tells a different story. People aren't taking any chances. 1. Shelf-stable cheese is disappearing. If you love cheese, brace yourself, because shelf-stable cheese products are flying off store shelves, and they may be harder to find this April. While fresh cheese is still widely available, a combination of supply chain disruptions, increased demand, and emergency prepping trends is making canned, powdered, and processed cheese harder to keep in stock. According to the USDA Economic Research Service, cheese consumption in the U.S. hit a record high in 2023, with Americans consuming around 40 pounds per person. But here's the problem. National news sources like MSNBC have reported dairy shortages in several regions, particularly during severe winter storms. This has made shelf-stable cheese a must-have alternative for people worried about power outages, transport delays, and fresh dairy becoming scarce. To meet this demand, manufacturers of canned and powdered cheese ramped up production by 9% over the past 2 years, according to Dairy Foods magazine. But even with this increase, supplies are running low, as more people stockpile non-perishable dairy options. A market analysis from Technavio predicts that global demand for shelf-stable cheese will grow another 6% by 2025, fueled by concerns over refrigeration disruptions and unpredictable grocery availability. Even the National Milk Producers Federation has acknowledged that while cheese production remains stable, trucking delays and cold storage limitations can make it difficult for certain areas to get a steady supply. That's why in states prone to hurricanes and power outages, local news stations are actively advising people to keep canned and powdered cheese on hand. And it's not just about storage convenience. Food scientists at the University of Wisconsin-Madison confirm that processed cheese powders retain their protein content for long periods, making them a reliable source of nutrients when fresh dairy isn't an option. However, they also warn that exposing these products to high temperatures can degrade their flavor, so proper storage is key. A survey by Civic Science found that 18% of Americans have already stocked up on shelf-stable cheese, fearing future shortages, and that number is only expected to rise as more people recognize the benefits of having long-lasting dairy alternatives in their pantry.